Today, Wall Street made up some of the ground lost to coronavirus fears last week. Jeff Gillen's here with advice on how to handle this roller coaster ride with your investments.
That's right. Good evening, everybody. After the carnage of last week, your 401k got a breather today. Stocks were up and not by a little. Finally, a day in the black. After a week, Wall Street bled red. The Dow jumped 1,300 Monday, its biggest point gain ever. Too bad Brian Dunn couldn't cash in. After the biggest crash last week since the recession, he pulled money out.
I pulled quite a bit out already just to kind of be safe because I'm a single dad with a daughter. I need to kind of prepare for the worst.
The coronavirus has proved Wall Street is not immune to gravity. Even with today's jump, the pros say don't get too comfortable. They say we could still be in for a rocky ride.
Every indication points to continued uncertainty.
Randy Garcia is the founder of the Investment Counsel Company, one of this city's top money management firms. He'll tell you diversification is key right now, and be careful how you diversify. He says don't load up on investments that all tend to go in the same direction.
If that's the case, you are not highly diversified. So you want assets that all can produce an acceptable rate of return, but are not correlated.
Buy your stocks, buy your bonds, and be careful what you buy.
You have your stocks over here. We know you have your bonds over there. However, if the bonds are high quality, then in this market environment, they've appreciated to some degree and helped cushion that stock market drop.
It's been years since we saw a drop like last week's, but Jim Nierstedt here took it in stride.
Plenty of money in 401ks and a couple different CDs and the bank. And yeah, I get worried. But you know what? It'll come back next week or the week after. I'm not too concerned.
I believe it always comes back, so I just wait.
Okay.
I'm not afraid. I think our economy is strong.
And that could be the best market strategy. Don't panic.
The death toll from coronavirus infections here in the U.S. rises to 6 as concern grows right here in southern Nevada. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jim Snyder.
I'm Reed Cowan. We've got team coverage of the coronavirus outbreak. Alexis Gorey standing by with a look at how the virus is affecting travel, while Jeff Gillen is standing by with how it can infect your savings.
Let's start with Gerard Ramallo. He's live down at school district headquarters. And Gerard, some parents are worried the district is not doing enough to make sure their kids are protected.
Yeah, think about it, Jim. The number one thing that we've been hearing from health experts is to wash our hands. This is especially true for kids who like to play with other kids and spend long hours on crowded schools.
Whether they come from the classroom or they're coming straight from lunch, like there's germs.
Stephanie Valdez is a mother of 3 school-aged children. Like most moms, she has concerns about the coronavirus and is paying close attention to advice being offered by experts.
You want to have good hand washing and not, you have to do 20 seconds of hand washing.
In southern Nevada, the Clark County School District last week issued an advisory from the Health District, which stressed the importance of hand washing with soap and water. However, Stephanie and other parents have learned that's not happening at their children's school.
They're coming from the computer lab. They have shared workspaces. They're playing on the monkey bars. They're, doing things and they're touching stuff and then going straight to eating.
In fact, Stephanie says at her kids' school, the children go straight from recess to the lunchroom. No time is offered for hand washing. Lila Warren is another concerned parent.
If they had some hand sanitized stations, just those little, dispensers that they could put up on the walls.
CCSD declined our request for an interview for this story, but said each school handles hygiene and sanitation on an individual basis. Some campuses, they say, have installed sanitizers. For Stephanie, that answer just isn't good enough, especially considering how many hours her children spend at school and how vulnerable they can be to illness.
I feel like they're not taking ownership and responsibility of making a policy in place. Build that in to the lunch schedule if you have to, because you can't expect kids to do it on their own.
Gerardo Ramirez is stocking up on all the necessities.
Water, some milk, bread, chips.
As a dad, he says the news of the coronavirus spreading is upsetting.
For my kids, yeah, it worries me a lot.
Now he says he's preparing for the worst. And Gerardo isn't alone.
Uncertainty can really play into the anxiety associated here.
Dr. Jason Castillo is a psychiatrist with Alliance Mental Health. He says he's seen these anxieties in clients before during outbreaks like swine flu, Ebola, and Zika. He says medical mysteries like the coronavirus threaten our brain's sense of security.
That can play with our sense of safety and our expectations of the safety of our world.
Dr. Castillo says that's when our thoughts can become irrational.
The things that we are thinking about here are like catastrophizing, thinking the worst possible outcome will happen. What we sometimes call an attention bias is now we pay attention to that sniffle of that person that might be on the bus next to us. Now we listen to that cough from our family member, whereas that would have been brushed off a few months ago.
If you catch yourself falling into these fears, he says there's several steps to take. He says keep up with current information, but don't overload.
Get what you need and then maybe go on with living your daily life. Go for a walk, walk your dog, go enjoy time with your family.
And look for balance, like activities that spark joy instead of fear.
Meditation and mindfulness. Some people might find spirituality, prayer, or hobbies even to be fulfilling and important during these times of stress.
All right, big day for UNLV as sophomore Bryce Hamilton became the first running Rebel to earn all Mountain West Conference first team honors since Anthony Bennett did it back in 2013. Hamilton averaged 20 points a game during Mountain West Conference play. Also, junior guard and friend of Sports Night, Amari Hardy, earned all conference honorable mention. Meanwhile, the Lady Rebels opened up conference tournament play with a tough defeat to San Jose State, despite a historic performance from Rajanae Wade. Jesse Merrick has more.
Yeah, Brian, after this one, it's hard for the Rebels to not feel like they shot themselves in the foot. There were 47 combined turnovers in this game, 24 of which came from UNLV alone. So with the turnovers on both sides, the Rebels had their fair share of chances, but just couldn't make San Jose State pay for their mistakes, managing just 9 points off of those turnovers and shooting 33% on the day. Meanwhile, the Spartans poured in nearly half their points off of turnovers.
It says in here that they scored 29 points off our turnovers, so that just kills us. We're not a team that's going to score a lot of points. I was mad at RJ for not getting a 30-30. She just got a 20-20.
I would say they applied a lot of pressure. They're really good with clumping up on us and making it hard for us to see things, like as far as getting to the basket and stuff like that, as to where they're pretty spaced out on their team. So they always have us spaced out on defense, but we don't know how to space out enough to get them out of the way.
The guys get this in somewhat of a bittersweet ending to her career. Senior Rajanae Wade went off today, scoring 26 points and 21 rebounds. Good for her 21st double-double of the season. That's a new UNLV Rebels program record. For News 3 Sports, I'm Jesse Merrick. Brian, back to you.